Good evening, everybody. How are you all doing tonight? We are back in Baku for round number 11 of the championship here in Div 2. Last time out, we were at the Imola Grand Prix, and now we move on to Baku, which has shown us plenty of racing action in the past, plenty of safety cars too, plenty of chaos and overtaking down the two DRS zones into turn 1 and into turn 3. And alongside me tonight is Oliver, mate. How you doing?
Hello. Welcome. I'm glad to be here again for another race week of racing here in SFR, and of course we got the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. First mention the real race that happened here in Baku. Absolutely astonishing racing, to say the least, from Ferrari and McLaren. Red Bull just wasn't on the pace on that day, and after all that, McLaren now lead the Constructors' Championship for the first time since for the first time in 10 years. After 2014, it's a great feeling to have from McLaren, and I hope that really does continue.
Yeah, 2014, they only led the championship for one race only. That's when Hamilton retired. Magnussen and Button finished on the podium that day, but Ricciardo's disqualification. Rosberg won the race, so McLaren took over from Mercedes. What a race it was in Baku indeed. Oscar Piastri versus Charles Leclerc. Leclerc gave us some fantastic action throughout the whole race, especially in the second stint. Piastri's dive bomb into turn 1 was beautiful and clean as well controlled of the brakes. And Leclerc's defence and attacking was great too, but that inside line, Oscar Piastri crucially covered it as well. So that was fantastic there from Piastri. His second season in Formula 1, and he's managed to sustain the pressure that well against Charles Leclerc, who's been in F1 since 2018 in the Sauber days. Now, back to Baku in the game. Here on a full lap is Keith. So, DRS wide open, then down this back straight, reaching speeds about 340 kilometers an hour as the McLaren driver makes his way down towards turn number 1. Where we saw Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen crash here in 2018. We also saw Pepe Marti as Kate Adams hits the wall in the exit of turn 1. You got to be very iffy about that wall because it is sketchy, that outside wall, and it catches a lot of people out. It's caught me out before as well, and Oliver, I presume it's caught you out too sometimes.
Yeah, it's caught out many people. I mean, just to think that that turn 1's going to hit you in the face, turn 2 comes out as quick as it can. The first sector is pretty much 90-degree corners, but all those 90-degree corners are so crucial to manage. You've got to get the line right, you've got to get the drive right, you've got the position of the car right, and Keys goes over the curb on that chicane, and now going towards the very famous castle section where we call it Leclerc corner, because the famous line, "I am stupid." And Keys nearly done the same thing that Charles Leclerc did nearly, but he just got away with it.
Yeah, so exiting the castle section, a few corners there for Keith, but it is his first lap time. At least he hasn't lost his end place, so we can get a representative time on the board. We're making our way down towards turn 16, late braking. You arrive at such speed. It is a make or break corner. We've seen plenty of people crash there before as well. Lawrence Stroll, Verstappen, Leclerc, Antonio Giovinazzi before, Daniel Ricciardo, Perez, which cost him a 5-place grid penalty for the Baku Grand Prix. He qualified second ahead of Sebastian Vettel, had to start down in 7th, and he still finished in second place or third after his 5-place grid penalty, overtaking Raikkonen on the track. So here comes Keith now, making his way towards the finish line as he's the first one to set a lap time on the board. He cuts the beam. It's a 40.4. It's quicker than the actual qualified in Formula 1. But is anybody going to beat that? This way Seth in P2 with a 41.5. 9/10 off Johan. Crosses the line now with a 39.8. Here comes the old beast, that Sonic Hawk. It is. Goes up into P3 with a 40.6 to him. And Martin made contact going down into turn 7 there at Tulsa. Both of them colliding, both of them dropping towards the back. We mentioned that they had a very good qualifying, but couldn't convert it into a decent race result. Adams, our championship leader, goes into P3, just ahead of his McLaren teammate Smoke, who goes into second place. And Martin, talk about him, who goes into first by 5 thousandths of a second there. We've got a kick Sauber. Both Saubers, by the way, are back together for the first time in ages. Calvin Racing goes into P4. His teammate Cassidy's exited turns 17 right now, when we saw that power slide from Oscar Piastri and also Charles Leclerc in the race too. What a fantastic synchronized shot that was for Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc, both pushing to the limits of the track, trying to hunt each other down. Cassidy is not on a lap time because he has turned off his ERS.
Zenon, I tell you what, he was very clever because he actually came out a bit lucky because he was towing right behind Mantel's car. Mansell helping out Zenon there. Really not supposed to help out his teammate. Well, we know the issue at the moment between the teammates of Aston Martin. Let's not go any further than that. But here comes Burmeister. Zenon got a podium last week in Imola, which was fantastic to see. Here comes Burmeister towards the line in the Williams. Speaking of Williams, actually, can we give a big, massive shout out to Williams in Baku as well? Calapinto and Albon did a fantastic job with the Williams team at Baku on Sunday. Fantastic to them. And Michael Wasp is close for the castle session now.
Second season for Logan Sargent, only scored 1 point back in USA, Texas, but both Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton got disqualified. Second race for Franco Colapinto, the Argentine driver, for his second appearance in Formula 1, scored a fantastic 8th place finish and also got into Q3, beaten Albon, although Albon did not set a second lap time due to the icebox on the car, still on the car there, literally keeping his cool, but not in the way he would have wanted. Here comes Mindful Wasp. He only picked up 1 podium so far this season. That was back at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, where Cassidy was leading the Grand Prix until he picked up a 3-second time penalty, and that's a Sauber there getting very close, trying to get out of the way. And here comes the Aston Martin driver now, powering his way down the line, low on DRS as you expect. DRS wide open for him, and let's see where the Aston Martin can go. Fernando Alonso was undercover back at the Baku Grand Prix, finished in 6th place. Nobody really mentioned him, but he did a fantastic job too, to say the least. But Lawrence Stroll doing Lawrence Stroll things and retiring. I think he retired from the race, didn't he? Or did he stay in? I can't remember.
I can't remember. Here goes Cassidy, 39.3. Now he's up into pole. Dan's the only one to complete a lap now in the Alpine. And let's just say Alpine really. There's just nothing going well for them at the moment. I did hear rumours, actually, they're at a war with themselves over engine manufacturers, so that's going to be interesting to see how that plans out. Because Alpine's the only French team with a French engine, with a Renault engine in the back, who's currently having an argument among themselves, which is very Alpine-ish on tour. It's definitely not an L plan for them at the moment. So here comes Dan towards the final straight. 9 seconds to go before we see Cassie's time saying see you later, and Cassie's time goes about now. There's Cassie's time, and Dan will go up into P11, 40.3. Say what qualifying looks pretty close today.
It does indeed, and Adams just popped himself into P3. Here comes Keith now, cross the line. He goes into P4. It's a second row for both McLarens currently. They've done multiple runs on the same set of the soft compound tyres, which is the norm, the usual strategy going on here. So expect quicker and faster lap times later on in the session, as all the drivers want to conserve a set of soft compound tyres ready for the race, just in case there is a safety car, which is probably likely around here, judging by the walls and the difficulty of this track and the difficulty of these cars in general, because it could stop on you any moment in time. So Cassidy up into P1. I think he took pole back at the Miami Grand Prix. Actually just touched the wall there on his in lap. He has run out of fuel too, so it won't affect him too much. But Cassidy on pole ahead of Zenon by 3.5 tenths. That's a big gap as well between those two. Zenon, who was on a high so far because he finally broke the curse and he finally got his first podium of the season. Could have been a win, but at the same time you've got to be consistent in terms of getting no or less penalties than your rivals, and that's why he finished in second place. He could have won, but the victory went towards Smoke. What a fantastic victory that was for Smoke in the Alpine, getting his second win in a row on his debut in Monza. So let's see then, can he continue his run? We're about to find out soon, as qualifying will end in 8 minutes time. Here's the scenario then. Cassidy on pole ahead of Zenon by 3 tenths. Adams in P3, 1 tenth ahead or a few hundreds ahead of Keith in P5. Here's Martin, who's on his outlap. Look at that. They're orchestrating another slipstream. Both RBs. If you remember back at the Monza Grand Prix, they did this in the exact same order. So Sonic Hawk, being a team player, although he has been crashed into his teammate recently back at the Imola Grand Prix and also the Bahrain Grand Prix, the first race of the season. MCFC has retired at the exit at turn 18. We don't really usually see crashes there, but unfortunately he's gone out of this race. So here comes Martin now with a lovely toe. I think both RBs are starting a lap. Like I said in Monza, if these two are close together in the high speed or low speed corners, they will lose traction. So let's go on board with this lap as we exit turn 2. He will feel it here. He might get massive wheel spin at the exits of these corners, the 90 degrees left-hander and right-hander. DRS enabled again. A lovely toe down the back straight. Toro Rosso or AlphaTauri did this back in 2021. Gasly qualified in 4th place, and Tsunoda gave him a lovely tow down the straight. Then I think 2 years later, or the same year actually, Gasly got on the podium with Perez winning the race, Vettel in P2, and Gasly in P3. That was his last podium as well. But Martin, funnily enough, is attempt down the first sector despite having a tow on the back of his teammates. So as long as Sonic Hall can keep it clean, because let's say if he crashes, Martin's right behind and he might run into the back of him and also compromise his own lap. So Martin's got to be very careful and wary of what Sonic Hall does here. Quick like reactions from Martin in the RB as he negotiates his way around the castle session. But look at the ERS, he hasn't used much of it. Now he's using it. He's still on 100% as he came out the castle session. Flicking our way now into the fast speed corners of 15 and 16 before we approach the heavy braking zone, and it can be quite difficult as well. You arrive there at such speed and the walls are very close too. Let's see what he does in the middle sector, and he's a few hundreds down, albeit he did go purple, but now he should find all the time in this last sector. I don't think he'll be able to take pole, judging by 5/10 away, and he hasn't improved on his previous best either. So Martin with a lovely tow. Let's see the top speed. The top speed was about 372 kilometers an hour by Valtteri Bottas in 2016. The top speeds now will be about 345. He goes up into P2.
Wow.
He found a lot of time. 4/10, unbelievable.
That's the power of the tow for you. And I was watching Martin's POV there, and literally he was really managing with the ERS, like you said, because he was towing Sonic Hawk for the entire lap. But then when it came to the right moment, he used most of that ERS down that main straight and literally absolutely got the maximum top speed. And it doesn't really matter, because look at Smoke, 3/10 faster than Cassidy. Good lap there from Smoke, and puts Cassidy in his place. Mansell, who's the closest challenger at the moment to Adams, is currently P4 at the moment. He's doing a fantastic job in the quali runs at the moment. He's stuck behind the Red Bull of, I think it's Kusa, which is, or is it Atlas Scopo? It's one of the two. We're going to have a look and see. It is Atlas Scopo. So it's right now Scopo and Mansell currently on the lap. Scopo is 5 seconds down, so really he needs to get out of the way for Mansell if he is on an out lap, when he isn't. Mansell's 2 seconds slower, so those two are not clearly pushing. Who else is on the lap? Let's see.
Zeno. He's currently 3/10 up
yes,
the first
he
set.
is.
Oh, he hits the wall. He hit the curve too much there, and he carried too much speed for his own good, unfortunately. 6/10 up, but I think that'll be over. Although, he did lose an end play. He lost an end play, I think, and it might give him a bit more straight line speed down the straight. So let's see if that does help him. He is 6/10 up. This could put him into P1. It down into turn 60. He got away with that, actually. This could promote him up into P1, depending how good the straight line speed is. But he's backed out of it. Yeah, he has.
I'll tell you what, you heard the phrase hot skipping the jump. Yeah, you pretty much got that in the end with Zenon. Literally rode that curb and literally, like a horse, bucked him out into the wall. Absolutely unbelievable. Literally launched it into the wall. Dan is having problems at the moment. I don't know what he's got. He's got oversteer problems in that LP. When he turns in, he sort of doesn't get the drive he wanted, and he's just oversteering the car so much, and it's just not helping out for him. He's all the way down in P16. Not really unlike Dan to be down there. That's probably not one of his favourite circuits. Keeps at the moment. He's just started his run. He's currently P10. So let's see how that turns out for him.
Let's see what Keith did. A two-time race winner, same with Adams, although I think Adams has just got the one win because of the post-race penalty back at the Miami Grand Prix. So Keith has got the most wins out of the two, and they're currently occupying the 5th row of the grid. There is 3 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in this session then, so not much time for these drivers to try and find amendments of improvement. But Keith already 2/10 up in the first sector. Bearing in mind, he did his best lap on his 3-lap old soft self-compiled tyres, so more grippier softs should give him the boost he needs and more time. Here we are then in the slow speed corner. Oh, there's a Sauber in the way who's just spun. Luckily he was ghosted there and he's lost his wing. I think that was Cassidy because he was on a flying lap.
It's Calvin. It's Calvin.
He's on an outlap though, so he's just crashed on his outlap unfortunately, and that's qualifying potentially done because I don't think he's got enough time to get back in the pit lane and put on a brand new set of softs or change that wing. So qualifying could be over for the Cyber Boy down in P12, and here is Keith then clouting the curb at the exit of 16. We're making our way towards the end of the middle sector. It is 4 tenths up in the middle sector there to be precise, well not precise, round it up, and let's see then how much time he can find in this last sector. This will put him into P3 and P4 depending if he's got that straight line speed down the straight. It's all about the straight line speed here. And Energy Dan has got a 5 players clear penalty for blocking Ronnie. There's a lot of cars down there into turn 2. There's a Mercedes off the track, I think. Don't know if there's 2 make contacts or not. Here comes Keith across the line now. He goes into P3. What a lap time. And let's see what happens to the rest of them.
Let's see how Cassidy is doing, because Cassidy is about to start his flying run. Is about to go after Smoke's 139.0. If anyone is going to go into pole, it's going to be a 138. Surely, if you're going to get pole position, it's going to be probably a good 1 minute 38.8, so pushing 7. So let's see how Cassie gets on in the Sauber. Is Zenon on a lap? No, he's not yet. He's coming on an out lap. Yarum is on a lap though. In the Haas. Look, that's so aggressive going into was it? I think it was turn 3, and now going into turn 4. Dan's retired from the session. Really, really angry with his qualifying. Yes, he has.
There's a McLaren there who's entered the castle session. He's literally in the way, but I think Keith just managed to avoid him. He did complete his lap then, so luckily, even though he's ghosted, it will be a distraction for you because you don't know or not. So we go back on board with the driver who talk about Joachim down there in P6. He has an amazing qualifying pace, but he just, we say it every single time, cannot hook it up in the race. Whether he's down to set up, whether he's better in qualifying or the race, who knows. But hopefully for Joachim, he can find his feet because he is a quick driver. Let's not discount him. He has been running in high esports teams like Hazara does, like X, and all the teams he's been in. Mindful Wasp goes into second place, a great lap time indeed from the Aston Martin driver. Joachim is 4 tenths up in the middle sector as my voice breaks there. But what can Joachim do? He's got a lot of battery left in his disposal to see if he can try and take pole away from the man in P1 who sets a 39.0 then. So closing time for qualifying is almost there, and we'll see what the Haasman can do unless he makes his way now towards the line. DRS enable. Can Joachim slash pole away? And he can't. It's a 39.2 and he goes into P3. Regardless, it's a great qualifying, and we'll see where the rest of the competition is. We've got plenty of people now crossing the line as qualifying will be done in 25 seconds time. Both Mercedes are giving each other a tow as we go on board with Casti. Let's see what lap time he can set in the south, but it's going to be, oh, it's pole! It's pole about 1300ths of a second there. What a lap time from Casti there. 2 lap all softs. I thought he was going for a double push lap there because he backed off his first lap. So great lap time indeed for the man in the Sauber team. Could be his second pole of the season, but who knows? We've got plenty of people out there setting personal best. Here's Smoke now arriving and driving out of turn 16. Let's see what his middle sector is in the Alpine. It's going to be a 10th up, so let's see, can he keep it nice and tidy the exit of turn 17? A few people get a bit squirmy on the exit. We saw Kimi Raikkonen do that back at the 2018 qualifying. He set the purple middle sector in qualifying. Unfortunately for him, just messed the exit up at turn 17. Can catch a lot of people out, especially Lando Norris too. Mick Schumacher also spotted that corner too back in 2021. Here comes Smoke now, making his way towards the line. Powers down in the Alpine as he sets the benchmark. It's a 38.8 and he takes pole back by a stunning margin.
Keeps Zenon are flying at the moment, and look at Zenon all over the back of Keith's McLaren. He's going to get a tow.
It's going to be a masterclass again from Zenon. He is literally low on battery. He's got no overtake whatsoever. He's low on batteries. I don't think he'll take pole as we see Keith into P2. Great qualifying from Keith, and Zenon goes into P6. Despite having no battery, he's still made his way up there through the field. What's Mansell going to do? He's currently 2 tenths up in the middle sector. We did have a new debutant in F2 called Mansell. He was on pole for the sprint race, I think, but unfortunately for him, he dropped backwards due to his inexperience on tyre saving. Dropped dramatically back. Mini finished on the podium too in the sprint race. Unfortunately, I think he crashed out during the feature as he made contact with Kimi Antonelli. Here comes Mansell now, making his way towards the line. What's it going to be for the Aston Martin driver? Let's see. It's P4 for him, ahead of his teammate by a few hundred.
Good laps there from Aston Martin. Well done. And Smoke, 38.8. Didn't I call it as well? 38.8. What a time that is from Smoke. He smokes the opposition today.
It's not a smoky engine from an Alpine that usually occurs in the real life F1. But like you said, in Alpine, he smoked it on the track by about under a tenth, I think it is. A few hundred separating Keith and Smoke. In fact, let's, instead of like guessing it, why don't you just go on board with it and see what it is? So let's have a look to see what the gap to leader is. Look at that, a quarter of a tenth there, 3/4 of a tenth. Amazing lap time there for Smoke. Can he get his third win of the season? Third race in a row after appearing at the Monza Grand Prix. He has been a force to reckon with this season, and he continues his good display of driving once again. But he's got a lot of competition right behind him who are hungry because they're all in a championship fight. With Smoke being his third race of the season, he's currently down in P15 in the championship. 2 podiums, 2 wins after 2 races, and amazing for him. So qualifying has ended, and we can move on to the race then. I just want to talk about Baku again. Baku never fails to deliver a fantastic race. Our first race in Baku was back in 2016 when Nico Rosberg took the victory. Lewis Hamilton crashed out qualifying. It was meh. Yeah, I think it was meh. There was not much action there, but we expected a lot of power slipstream and DRS trains then. Even with the low downforce cars that back before they winded it in 2017. But Nico Rosberg was the man who took the first win in Baku. Lewis Hamilton sustained a broken suspension after he crashed at the exit of the Baku section, and I think he finished in 5th that day, just behind Kimi Raikkonen or Sebastian Vettel. I think it was Raikkonen because he got a penalty for crossing the pit lane entry, and they moved back to the racing line. So that's why I got penalty there. 2017 is the race we all should remember in our memories. That was the race where it kicked things alive. We had Bottas and Raikkonen making contact at turn 2. Bottas was a lap down, and he was plumb lost in 20th, nowhere to be seen. Both Force Indias crashed into each other, Perez and Ocon. We saw as well that Danny Kvyat retired from the race as well. Max Verstappen had engine problems. Daniel Ricciardo had to box because he had overheated brakes. There was a bit of debris stuck in the brakes, and he managed to get going again. Felipe Massa had suspension problems. Nico Hülkenberg hit the wall before the castle section, caused him to retire, and Daniel Ricciardo did a triple overtake down the inside into turn 1 on Hülkenberg, Massa and Stroll. What a fantastic overtake. Sebastian Vettel hit Lewis Hamilton under the safety car as he claimed to brake test him, and unfortunately for him got a 10-second penalty. Lewis Hamilton had a headrest problem. Bottas from plumb last and a lap down to finish in second. Perez and Raikkonen rejoined the race after retiring as a red flag came out that time as well. So the red flag that triggered things, and it was a fantastic race back in back. First podium of the season, despite being out-dragged by Valtteri Bottas towards the line. And 2017, I don't know if I missed anything or not, but plenty of action there.
I do. I remember Kimi Raikkonen in that event where he was shouting to his race engineer Mark, but shouting for his gloves and his steering wheel on the radio was brilliant.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
And oh my God, do you remember 2018 when both Red Bulls, Verstappen and Ricciardo, collided with each other? That was very controversial in the Red Bull team.
Yes, it was. And also, Valtteri Bottas should have won that race, but unfortunately, I think he picked up a puncher, so Lewis Hamilton got by. I think Valtteri Bottas did a long first stint, then a safety car came out. I'm not quite sure why. I'm trying to remember back what happened, but safety car came out. Oh yeah, because of that crash, obviously, between Red Bull, Ricciardo and Verstappen. Then Bottas was able to pit, rejoin ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian Vettel went back down the inside, locked up, gave himself a flat spot. Then Perez, out of nowhere, got his podium that day too, when the Force India car wasn't really that great, as also they went into administration halfway through the season too, after the previous boss was, look, I don't know what he was doing back then, but he was a fraud, I think.
Yeah, I think it was. And then we had 2019 and, of course, 2020. I don't think Azerbaijan was in 2020. I don't think it was. No. Yes, it was.
It wasn't.
No,
it wasn't.
So then we had 2021 when Max had his puncher, and then, of course, 22 was all right when Leclerc crashed into the wall, very ironically. 23, another good race. And then, of course, this year. Wow, I don't know what to say with this year. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, Baku, yes, 2016 was meh, but after that, oh my word, I don't know, can't remember what a race that brings like consecutive bangers every single time F1 comes to this. To be honest, Baku is sort of underrated, to be honest, because it goes under the radar so many times because it's such a street circuit, but it brings us so many classic races.
I agree. I've always loved Baku, even though I don't like to race on the F1 game. As Keith remember to put a reminder out saying, please no lap one heroics. But
Heroics,
we didn't
yeah.
even mention about Perez and Carlos Sainz's crash when it both promoted Williams into P7 and P8. Perez and Sainz, I'm not going to talk about that. It's just a race incident at the end of the day. There's so many F1 experts in quotation marks on Twitter saying about this and that and using the F1 game itself. I've seen so many ridiculous tweets. I don't want to get involved in it. I just saw it as a race incident. It was a fantastic race, and Oscar Piastri, who won the race, finally, he deserves that victory. I don't want to say he didn't deserve it in Hungary.
Smoke's going for softs, Jamie. Smoke is on softs, and the rest of them are on medium and hards.
That's a very interesting strategy. That's a very interesting strategy indeed. But I want to talk about Oscar Piastri for a second because his win went under the radar back in Hungary due to team orders. But nobody, no matter who you are a fan of, even Charles Leclerc, can say that Oscar Piastri don't deserve the win. He fully deserves it. He's shown why he's in Formula 1. He's shown why he's a Formula 2 and Formula 3 champion as well in the lower categories, and he deserves to be in Formula 1 this season and in McLaren too. He has made the right call. Him and Mark Webber, who famously screamed when Lewis Hamilton locked up into turn number 1 in 2021.
I remember that as well. That was so funny. That was brilliant.
Yeah, it was funny indeed. That's the Channel 4 commentary, now the F1 TV Pro commentary with Alex Drakes, Mark Webber, Jolyon Palmer and David Coulthard. I'm not quite sure how it works on Channel 4 no more these days because it's all changed around with the F1 highlights. But Alex Drakes, the main F1 commentator these days, and he famously said, we're headed into the wall. Going down into turn 2 with Perez and Sainz. What a commentator he is.
And I was about to say, I mentioned another thing as well, was the cars going around the section. Do you remember else how I'm in Baku? I think Ericsson hit me. Do you remember that underneath the safety car?
Oh my goodness me. Romain Grosjean, the man who spun and crashed quite a lot, crashed himself into the wall by locking up the rear end and losing it. And his engineer came on the radio. It wasn't Grosjean who said it, because people do get mistaken. It wasn't Grosjean who said that. It was his what's his name? It was his engineer. I can't remember his name now, but he's a really good engineer. He's got that voice where you like to listen to. It was Mick Schumacher's engineer, Nico Hulkenberg's engineer right now. I can't remember his name. Gary something.
Yeah.
But it was Ericsson who hit us. Says Gary Gannon, I think it is.
I think it was, yeah.
Wow.
Here we go. So many memories.
All 18 drivers are ready for the Baku Grand Prix. Is Smoke predicting an early safety car? Will he go to the hardcore power tyres to take towards the end? How is your strategy going to pay off around here in Baku? He's hoping for an early safety car. Was the soft core power tyres a mistake, or was it purposeful? We're about to find out if he does win or get on the podium, to find out in the podium interviews if he does. Both Aston Martin close together on the hard compound tyres, and we are ready for a great race around here in Baku. 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and Alex Jakes would say, let's go racing in Baku, and let's see gets a better start. Ultimately, Smoke gets a better start on the soft power tyres, but Casti is now around the outside going down into turn 1. It's going to be a turn 1 mayhem as it has out of shape, but he gets back on the track safely. That's Joachim who lost the back end of the car there as we go down towards turn 2. Martin and Burmeister are swapping places. Haas is in the wall again. That looks like it's Joachim because Calvin now is ahead of him. Here comes Adams now, who puts himself up into P10. So it looks like a clean start so far with a few people scraping the wall as Klusler takes advantage as we go down towards the heavy breaker zone into turn 3. Is anybody daring to make a move down here? Klusler's defended from Joachim. He gets out of shape, and now Energy Down's going to go around the outside into turn 4, but he can't quite do so because the door is firmly shut as Lawrence Stroll fouls out on Yuki Tsunoda as he retired him from the race as well. But it looks like a clean start so far from everybody. There's an Aston Martin got out of shape. Might be under attack now from Zenum. It's an odd place to go side by side, but later the place goes the Ferrari driver. Tries to go on the outside. The Aston Martin scrapes the wall. Adams picks up a 3-second time penalty as the battle has ended because you don't want to go side by side in the castle session as Zenum puts himself up into P5.
Very aggressive move there for Zena. No, very good aggressive move. Going up into P5. At this moment in the championship, Mansell is currently P6. Aiden's just picked up his 3-second time penalty, like you said. So he's Currently on the brink at the moment, losing some points to Mansell. He doesn't really want to lose that, as Calvin is now overtaken Adams now, and you can tell the reason why, because Adams has got front wing damage on the right-hand side. The right front end plate is missing, as Keith's is 1.2 behind Cassidy already, so he's losing time already. You can see that Mindful Wasps is getting a lot more closer. Mansell is even closer to Zenon's Ferrari. Go down the inside. Can he get the move done and retain the position? He can, and he will. Mansell back up into 5th, and Adams 10-second penalty for spinning the pits. That's 13 seconds combined.
On lap 2, his race is going downhill, and it's a long race from there. So he's hoping for a safety car to A, to get rid of that 10-second penalty, and B, bring him back into contention. And see him down the inside. It's a late move, and he double locks up, and he almost put the Aston Martin in the wall. That was like a mistake, like back in Miami when it wasn't supposed to do that. But luckily, he does not put the Aston Martin in the wall. He was so late on the brakes. I thought he'd go in the wall together. It was like a repeat from, I think it was Antonelli and Mini at the time, back in the F2 feature race. But luckily, did not take him out. Mansell's back into P6 safely, as he almost got put in the wall. They were ghosted too, so that might have put an effect there for why the reason Mansell wasn't fully put in the wall. So luckily for Mansell, he survives another day. It could have been very scary indeed for the man in P2 in the championship. He'd taken out on lap 3 or lap 2, sorry. But DRS is enabled, and Cassidy is able to stick with the back end of the Smoke. So Smoke is not really putting away, although he is though, because P3 downwards have dropped away dramatically. So Cassidy is the only one that can keep up with Smoke's pace so far, being on the medium compound tyres, the mid-range tyres, and we'll see how we can handle this. Let's see if we might try. I can't even speak now. Let's see if we can try and take the lead of the race.
Well, let's see if he can. It comes Cassidy down towards the main DRS zone. Now Cassie's got two choices. He can either stay behind Smoke for a few laps, recharge the ERS, or go and try and attack, and looks like he's gonna play the very safe game and stick it behind. Meanwhile, we got Martin and Mindful Wasp fighting away, and Mindful Wasp defends really hard for Martin, but Martin is not going to give up. He's going to try and attack again after turn 2 maybe. If he gets the traction, she does. But now here they come now towards turn 3, and that gives Martin down the inside of Mindful Wasp. That is going to be P4. We've got more fighting down below. That's Klusa trying to fight away from Calvin and holds on only just. Massive train from Martin all the way down to where Calvin is.
So third place downwards has been detached from the leading pair in second and first there for Paul. At the exit at turn 2 was lucky not to pick up any end plate damage, so he survives another day. He has been outbraking himself quite a lot recently, which almost as a consequence took out the Aston Martin and Mansell. Both Aston Martins. Oh, there's another hit from the wall there from Zena. Just touched the inside line, or touched the inside wall, sorry, going to castle section. He's very lucky not to get any damage if he hasn't got any damage already. Let's see, for the off-board camera, he hasn't got any end plate damage, so he's just lucky to escape it again. But third time, if he hits the wall, it might not be lucky this time as we go down towards turn 16. Another heavy breaker zone. He can really clutter the curb there. If you take the esports line, if you remember the esports line a few years ago, when you literally ride the curb with no consequences, the back end of the car does not go out whatsoever. But Casting now, like you said, is he playing a long game? Is he just sticking behind Smoke there, using him for DRS? He's got nobody behind him for the time being. The gap is 2.1 seconds between Keith and Cassidy, with Martin just behind him, P4. Mindful watches out the DRS range of Keith, as I don't think Bella is listening. As we go down towards turn number 1 here, Cassidy's all over the back of Smoke, but obviously he won't go for it just yet, so he should play that patient, long waiting game. So is Mansell just behind then, and heck was Burmeister and Klusler breaks himself, and he goes into the wall! That's like a repeat of Ollie Behrman there when he tried to bail out of it, but couldn't quite do so. But this time Klusler does not lose his wheel as we go down towards turn 2. But Cassidy takes the lead away from Smoke. It's happened down into turn 3 on lap 4. Will he pull away, or can Smoke now try and stick in the DRS? How long are those soft cold power tyres going to last for? Adams down in 17th has set the fast up of the Grand Prix, trying to run his own race, see what he could try and recollect. Because if you remember, from first down to 20th, although there are 18 drivers, you pick up every single point. So every single point might matter.
Every single point do matter, to say the least. And now, at this moment in time, in terms of championship-wise, Mansell will be outscoring Adams by a substantial margin, but he's not really thinking about that at the moment. He's trying to focus on to stay close to Mindful Wasp at the moment, and Mindful Wasp is a little bit out of shape there. Mansell is very wise to be on the brakes, so at the moment Mansell could be thinking about getting past Mindful Wasp as soon as he can, so he can get past and try and chase down Martin, because right now Mindful Wasp is out of DRS and Martin. This could be a change of position here with Mansell overtaking Mindful Wasp here.
We could see a three-way fight for first, because look who's closed in. The gap was 2.2, that was 9.10, so Keith has found a lot of pace out of nowhere so far. So let's see, what's the first lap? It was the reason why he dropped away so much, because of the early scraps he had with the cars behind. And now, is he in the DRS? Yes, he is. And here comes Smoke around the outside going into turn 1. He did what Charles Leclerc failed to do and go around the outside as Burmeister and Zenum are scrapping away for P7 and P8 as Burmeister puts himself up into 7th place. Burmeister's the one that usually gets to the podium quite a lot as well. He's got 2 podiums so far this season, tried to get the podium back in Imola, but unfortunately picked himself up a 3-second time penalty, and he stayed where he finished as well. And now the battle for first place is getting spicy like it was in Baku with Perez, Leclerc and Piastri. We've got Smoke, Casti and Keith now all bunched up together, and we'll see this three-way fight for first. Although Smoke is the outlier in this because he is on them soft compound tyres, it is lap 5, so don't expect those soft compound tyres to be in great condition. Are you saying to me, well, it's only been 5 laps, why those soft compound tyres are in great condition? But it's a qualifying tyre, not really a race tyre. It's more used towards the end of the race when the safety car comes out, like probably in Baku, because it always does, because all the walls are close together. We've seen a few people hit the wall so far, including Klusler, who went down into turn number 1, and the gap between 4th and 3rd is 4 seconds, so quite big gaps as Mindful Wasp once again loses the back end of the car, approaching uphill towards the end of the castle section. He's got his teammate right behind him. All there could be any team orders. You can see him really squirming away, even in the high-speed corners, which is usually flat out. He is squirming that car, and he hits the wall, he scrapes it, but luckily he gets away with it too. So Mindful Wasp there, really lucky at that occasion. He is trying to get himself back in DRS, but he messed up his rhythm going down into turn 17. He might have picked himself up a track violation warning there, and Mansell is all over the back of him. How hard are these two going to fight? Because despite their inter-team battle and their conflict recently, we'll see. Will Mindful Wasp just let him go? Because if he lets Mansell go, Mansell will get the DRS and he can bring himself back in contention towards Martin and try and put the RB driver under pressure. But here comes Burmeister now, going left, and eventually goes right. He puts himself up into P6, or does he? Because there is Mindful Wasp. There's a bit of contact. Burmeister hit the wall on the exit, and through goes Mindful Wasp back up the inside. Zenum looking to take advantage, but too far back. He's not ready to make the move so far as we exit turn number 2. Will Burmeister finally get him? He is derating, is the Aston Martin. So here comes the Williams, going left, going right, weaving left and right, saying, what the hell are you doing? It's turn number 1, and he's not able to get past on this occasion.
That's one angry little Dutchman in there, is Burmeister, telling Mindful Wasp off and probably pinching him into turn 1. If you can't go inside into turn 1, but it's just due to the fact that if you rely on the other driver, it's just down to the other driver to see if they're aware. I'm one of those drivers that is always aware, and if there's something to do down the inside, I will make more of enough room to make the driver to go past as safely as I possibly can. As you can see, Mansell is now already closed up to Martin already, so looks like that plan for Mindful Wasp, giving Mansell the DRS, has worked. Because right now Mansell is absolutely flying and already closed it to Martin already, because right now he is derating. He's saving the DRS for a defensive maneuver while Mansell is going to try and attack for an attack. And here comes Keith on the back of Cassidy.
There he is, then Keith is right behind Casti, looking to take advantage. He's got some blistering pace, that McLaren. Here he is, then, even before the DRS, to go side by side, but obviously Casti will have the DRS on the back of Smoke. Mansell is ahead of Martin, and let's see that Keith puts himself in second place, and now Mansell is released into P4. He's not even used the DRS. Do you know what? I think they both crossed the detection point at the same time. Here comes Calvin now and Zenum. He puts himself now up into P8. Does the Sauber driver, who's missed a few races. Atlas Copa's trying to defend from Energy Down, who goes around the outside. Must take everyone action there because the curb is right there. It sticks out like a sore thumb. Does the outside curb a turn? We can be very wary of it indeed, but Keith is looking really strong. I haven't seen Melissa Harrison in the comment section so far, but if she is, she'll be willing her man on to try and get his 3rd win of the season. He took it in China. He took it the first race of the season, battling with an Alpine, but it was Mad G on that occasion. He's now fighting with the Alpine of Smoke, who's looking for his 3rd win of the season. Both drivers in P1 and P2 are going for their 3rd win of the season, and Smoke especially for his 3rd win in a row.
So at the moment, Smoke's on coming on the 6th flap on his soft tyres. So right now, it really depends on if that safety car is going to come, because right now, as you can probably tell, he's sliding at the moment. And to be fair, Keys is as well, a little bit of oversteer on the exit of the corner. And what's happened to Mindful Wasp? Mindful Wasp is losing places. He lost 2 there to Burmeister and Calvin. He must have had a poor exit and literally gets absolutely humiliated by 2 cars. So right now, Mindful Wasp is not having a fun day out there in the office. Mansell, 3.3 behind the top 3. Speaking of which, this might be a change of position.
Here comes Keith now, all over the back of Smoke, smelling another first place victory on the cards, but there's a long way to go in this race. He's still got yet strategies left and also safety cars if they play a factor 2. Here comes Keith now to take the lead of the Grand Prix. Martin is right behind Mansell. He pulls the left hand side and he'll take P4 away. So with these two constantly changing positions, we've got 3 abreast, but have been down to turn 1. There's the Sauber, who's in the middle. He claims P6 away from Mindful Wasp and Burmeister. He puts himself up to P6. He was in the middle there, but thankfully all 3 of them played it safe, got out unscathed, and made the places very smoothly and cleanly indeed. So Mindful Wasp is into P8. He stays where he is right now, trying to irritate Burmeister, but Burmeister defended from him, but not defended from Calvin Racing, as he swept through the middle and put himself up into P6. Elsewhere, what's going on the track there? We've got Alas Copo on the back of Sonic Hawk. Those 2 are running their own races. MCFC picks up a 10-second penalty and retires in the pit lane, so no safety car will be called in on that occasion. But can Martin and Mansell, those 2 are closing down the gap slowly but surely now. The gap was over 4 seconds at one point. Now it's 2.7 between 3rd and 4th place. Can this 3-way battle become a 5-way battle for the lead? Although, so, look at this. Smoke is out of the DRS range. Sorry to cut in there, Oliver, but the Smoke is out of the DRS range with Keith. So Keith is pulling away on those mini compound tyres. I think Smoke's tyres, you can see that Keith really attacked the curb there. A bit of oversteer on the exit too for good measure, but able to get away with it. Can he keep out of DRS range when the detection point comes up, which is about further down this straight here? But Smoke is not able to get in DRS range. You can see the yellow warning light on the car, so that could play a factor 2 towards the end of the race. Anticipated a safety car, maybe underfueled the car, and if a safety car doesn't come out, he could be in fuel conserving mode like both Mercedes were back in Spain a year ago. So let's see if that does play an effect on him. But he's in the pit lane.
He's coming in. So that's the end. That's the end. That's of course our puppy getting told off slightly, but as I was about to say, with Mansell and Martin literally. It's right now. It's helping them closing down on Cassidy and Keys, because at this moment in time, it's Mansell and Martin sort of working together to close down on Cassidy and Keys. They're doing a stellar job at the moment. We've got Sonic Hawk and Atlas Scopo fighting. This is the turn 3, and guess the move done. Sonic Hawk moves up into P8, into the RB 8th place position, and he's got Clusser and Energy Dan right behind him. So I know Sonic Hawk's doing okay.
Something's happened to Keith there. The gap was over 1.2 before the end of the first set, and I was down to 2:10. So I think Keith has just made a big mistake, and Cassidy is all over the back of him now. I do notice
1.4 as well.
I did notice, that Keith was upshifted a bit early at the exit of turn 5 there, up into 6th already when he should have been in 4th gear there. So I think he's having problems with upshifting, whether he's running manual gears or not, trying to get used to it. But he's lost a lot of time now, and guess who's almost in this battle? Now he's in DRS range as Mansell, trying to go for his first win of the season. Had a few downers in the last few races. He finished outside the top 10 in Imola. He retired at the Monza Grand Prix, but now he's a contention for the lead of this Grand Prix. After being so far detached from the top pair, he's finally brought back in this battle. Here comes Casti now with the DRS wide open, puts it on medium mode, and let's see, can he overtake him now? Yes, he will. He puts himself up to people, but Keith is pitted.
That's early there for Keith, so only 9 laps on those tyres. So at this moment in time, is Keith predicting? And look at this! Oh, and Mindful Wasp squeezing Calvin to that funny part of the wall. Unbelievable driving there for Calvin to keep it out of the wall. But here comes Mansell for the lead. Can he get the position? He can! Mansell's into the lead!
And now, what happened at turn 1 was Cassidy lost traction at the exit of turn 1, and he allowed Mansell all of the back of him into turn 2, which gave him the exit and the DRS to power his way past Mansell, who was in 5th at one point, fights with his teammate Martin. Now he puts himself into the lead of this Grand Prix. He's on the hard compound tyres, of course, the most durable tyre out of all 3 allocations there. Can he pull away now? Is he in the best shape and form now to try and control this race? Where has Smoke rejoined? In P9, he's gone from soft to hard, his strategy. So let's see that pays dividends for him later on in this Grand Prix.
Keeps in P14 as well after the stop as well. Keeps in P14 after the stop.
And he's got Zenith for company too in the Ferrari.
Oh, my force is spun!
Where's his spawn? Where is that? Castle section.
That's out of the castle section.
So my full Wasp, he got overtaken there by Burmeister and Carvin Racing a few laps ago in the same place. I have noticed he struggled there a lot. He really just slides through the corner, and this time no luck for him. I think he's lost his plate too, as Zeno picks up a 3-second time penalty in this race. But look at Mansell. The gap is already 2.1 seconds.
Flying.
Unbelievable stuff indeed from Mansell. Can he control his pace? He'll be on the better tyre towards the end of this race too. Well, if he chooses mediums or softs, because we have seen soft to hard so far. As Keith is dropping down the order. No, it's weight says sorry. He's down into P14. He is on all the tyres, of course, so expect him to drop down the order. Cassidy is in the pit lane to complete his medium stint. He's had enough of those tyres, evidently, as he really struggled for traction there. And I think somebody's been moved. That's Energy Dan.
Yeah, I'm about to say, Energy Dan, who started last in this Grand Prix, and now he's up into P4. Yes, he is. Dan started last after a grid penalty, don't forget, after an unfortunate circumstance with Ronnie, but he's up into P4 now from starting last.
Great spot there, Oliver. I didn't even notice that, but yes, Energy Dan's up into P4. He hasn't got a podium yet this season. He was fighting. Oh, there's a spinner in the background. That's Ronnie. Just talking about the Mercedes driver. Unfortunately, he's gone for a spin at the exit of turn 3, and that's ended his chances now of scoring probably inside the top 10 with a broken end plate. You probably box towards the end of this lap. But as you notice, the hard runners, the hard tyre, seems like it's now coming to play. They've beaten the medium runners so far. Sonic Hawk is the furthest medium runner who hasn't pitted just yet in P5, sticking on the back of Dan. But the hard compound tyres now definitely coming to play now. The grippier tyres so far in this race. Where is Smoke? He's currently down in P6, going for a long stint towards the end.
14 seconds behind. He is within the pit stop range of Mansell, but he is going to come into some traffic very soon with Sonic Hawk up ahead. So at this moment in time, Smoke is currently okay for clean air. He's got very good track position at the moment, but it depends when he goes out to Energy Dan. That's the bigger question of how long he's going to be held up for.
I don't know if Smoke will take some pain towards the end, because once those guys pit who haven't pitted just yet will have the better tyres towards the end. Smoke's tyres should be okay, but in terms of pure grip, those guys who haven't pitted go for the long elongated strategy on the hard compound tyres. So here's Adams all over the back of Ronnie now, and he tries to defend, goes to the right side, but I don't think he's going to find this too hard, considering he has got airplane damage. And right behind him is Martin in the RB. He's not able to take advantage of him going down into turn 1 there, so he has to stay behind the McLaren driver a bit longer, but he needs to get past though to make sure he doesn't lose time towards his own teammate and Energy Dan, who was fighting earlier on in this race as well. So he has to get past the McLaren driver. Sonic Hawk is back ahead of Energy Dan. He puts it always sliding to the corner, and Energy Dan has to slow down too. There's a yellow flag down there. It's Zeno is spun going out of turn 2. He's hit the wall with Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez has made contact back in last week's race, and Keith now puts himself into P10 ahead of Alice Copo. They're on the same tyres, of course, but if I remember correctly, Keith, who was well ahead of Alice Copo was in 10th or 11th before his pit stop, and now he's caught him up. So what's happened to Keith's pace there, I wonder?
Was he caught up by the spin of Zenon, I wonder? And he had to overtake him again. But that's really very interesting to find out that was. But Adams is 4.3 now behind Smoke. Smoke is 3.9 behind Energy Dan, because he's continuously fighting away with Sonic Hawk. It depends how long is the medium tyres. Whoever's got the medium tyres now is Sonic Hawk. So his tyres are going very, very substantially because Dan is all over the backside of the RB. He's going to go for another move into fourth position, but the longer they keep on fighting, the closer is Smoke going to be to these two. Is Sonicor going to pit? Let's see how he's staying to the left. Is he going to stick? He's sticking to the left. He's coming in. Yes, he will. So Smoke will gain another position. So that's him going up into P5. Up he goes. We're going to see what the gap is to him and Energy Dan now. It's 3.7. So Smoke is closing.
He is indeed on those fresher hardcore power tyres, the net leader in this race in P5. The gap towards him and Mansell, who's in P1, is 40.5 seconds there between those two. So Smoke will get the undercut on Mansell, obviously, but towards the end of this race, can Mansell respond back on the fresher, medium or soft power tyres, depending how long he's going to stretch this stint for. We'll see towards the end of the Grand Prix. A safety car hasn't been shown yet, neither has the VSC, so it's a smooth race so far with a predicted one-stop strategy, but anything in this race could change. We've seen races being changed ahead dramatically when a safety car comes out, because it changes the whole phase and the whole trajectory of the race too. Burmeister in second place doing a decent job once again. He qualified down, I think, in P10, which he did. He had a dismal qualifying. That's the case with Burmeister this season. He always has bad qualifyings, but in the race he does make it up then. So maybe sacrificing quality for the race there, or maybe just don't have the one lap general pace. So some people are better in the race than in quality, which is much better overall, because obviously you've got 26 laps to try and do something about it. Or it's like your home situation. I don't mean to point him out, obviously, but he does well in qualifying, whereas in the race he tends to suffer. So that's the situations drivers have sometimes, and it really cost him as well. We've seen Yorholm drop to P16, I think, at one point at the end of lap 2 or 3, so he did really struggle on the first opening laps of this Grand Prix. Currently in P11 so far. He has made a pit stop, but will those be the compound tyres make it towards the end? There's still about 12 laps left to go in this race. It's all calm so far, but Energy Dan is one of the first ones to pit on the hard power tyres, and let's see, where will he rejoin?
We have got a little midfield scrap going on between Sonicor, Yarma and Cena. This is for 10th, 11th and 12th. So at the moment it's a free car fight for the lower 10th, for the lower positions, but at this moment in time it's Sonicor still leading, but Yarma having a little look down the inside, but at this case it is Sonicor holding on, and there is Energy Dan getting in front of this battle. That's crucial for Energy Dan to get in front.
Crucially, Sonicor should have had the undercut on him, but Energy Dan had the overcut, so that was very crucial in the race too. He comes out ahead of Sonicor. Sonicor should be able to drop Yorholm, considering the tyre difference between those two there, but he's not able to, so he's still in P10 there. But they're back together on the circuit, but this time on newer tyres. The difference is Energy Dan is on the mediums and Sonicor is on the hard power tyres, so we'll see how that pans out towards the end of this race as well. But the guys at the front still haven't pitted. What tyres are they going to go on to? Their pace seems consistent so far. The gap is consistently 2.5 seconds, 2.4 seconds between Burmeister and Mansell, so that's the crucial gap between those two, and we'll see what the undercut later on in this race play an effect as well.
That's another thing as well, to see how fast Mansell is going to close up to Smoke, because Smoke will definitely get the undercut on Mansell, but it depends how fast Mansell's going to close back up to Smoke for the race win. Right now it's all stalemate at the moment, but I think we're going to guarantee for a high standing finish. But here we go. Let's see how Sonicor will deal with Energy Dan, go down this main straight, because here comes Sonicor, the flying Indian, is about to put the curry sauce and Energy Dan's parade. It might be very spicy, but it's not mild. Here comes Sonicor to get past Dan and the two admins, and they go through very nice and cleanly. So yeah. It's not chicken curry. It's nice and mild.
Keith and Calvin are scrapping away. Calvin just came out the pit lane. They're side by side on the corner. Which one of them has DRS? I think it is Keith. He has the DRS, so he should be able to stay ahead. But Calvin does have the battery advantage, but he's not able to get past him so far. So Keith just rejoined ahead. Or Calvin just rejoined behind Keith, but he is on the medium compound tyres. They're better tyres now towards the end, so he should be able to get past him with ease, considering the tyre difference is there between those two. But towards the front, the gap is still 2.5 seconds there between Mansell and Burmeister. It's been the case for quite a long time between those two. So let's see then which one of these two will pit first. Mansell did a dummy, as Burmeister obviously the pit lane or not. He's not close enough to do that dummy call on Burmeister, but we'll see. Will these two have the pace towards the end, try and close in on, I think it is Smoke and P3. I want to mention Smoke's situation on fuel. So, Smoke has had the yellow warning light since lap 2. I wonder, will he have to do a bit of lift and coasting? Will that affect him later on in the race? If it does, that means Mansell and Burmeister will close in dramatically, considering the tyre difference too. Mansell and Burmeister made their pit stop. I think it's going to be on the medium compound tyres. Are they going to be put on the soft compound tyres? I don't think they are. Not going to risk it. So the medium should go towards the end, and we'll see a fantastic battle between Mansell, Burmeister and Smoke. So there is Smoke in the foreground going through turn 1 right now. His problems is Mansell and Burmeister right behind. Here comes Martin on the hard compound tyres. He gets ahead of Burmeister, but should be able to catch him quickly on those mini compound tyres. And there is the two Sauber boys in P5 and in P6, both back together for the first time in a long time. They both missed races this season, hence why they're further down in the championship. And Burmeister there, weaving to protect himself against Casti. He does not want to be passed by Casti because it will lose him a lot on unnecessary time being stuck behind the Sauber, but he won't overtake him on this occasion. So Burmeister's target there will be Martin. Get those tyres warmed up and he should get going. But the gap, it's only 3.4 seconds there from Mansell and Smoke. So I think Smoke could be under massive pressure real quick.
Yeah, so right now it is 3.2 seconds. So right now, Mansell and Smoke will be in a tussle for the race win. So Mansell in contention for his first victory of the season, and I've got to say it's very well overdue. So at this moment in time, Mansell is pushing hard, but so is Martin. He's going to hope that those medium compound tyres will die down very, very quickly, because we have seen the medium compound tyres, they don't last quite long. They're 11-12 laps, but Martin's going to hope that Mansell tries to degrade very, very quickly and really put the pressure on Burmeister. He's going to put the pressure on Martin to see he can get another podium, while the Sauber of Cassidy is going to try and hope he's going to stick behind Burmeister's DRS. If he can stick behind Burmeister's DRS, I'm sure it'll be very, very handy. And let's see how all the ERS saving is going to play out, because if you play it safe for the ERS, you can attack well at the end. But at this moment in time, it is all very much a stalemate. But if you've got a select a winner by now, it's going to be Mansell with that tyre advantage. But can he close in on Smoke before the race is finished? Meanwhile, Dan and Sonic Org still have a good little admin scrap. The director versus the owner. And right now, Dan is currently winning.
Joachim in the background defending from Zeno, who's recovering after his broken front wing, and further ahead of us, that is Energy Dan defending from Sonic Hawk. The gap's gone down to 2.8 seconds, but I expected a bigger overcut than that from Smoke. I expected the gap to be about 6 or 7 seconds, but it was actually 3.4 when they came out of the pit lane. So he's gone down to 2.7 now. Mansell will catch him rapidly on those mini compound tyres. I don't think Smoke can defend from this, and if he does, he's got to watch out for his fuel as well, because the fuel is on a yellow warning light. So he's got to be very wary and cautious of that. If he runs out of fuel, that'll be a disappointing end towards the Grand Prix, because his third win of the row will disappear, unfortunately for him. But he was anticipating a safety car, as you all do, around Baku, but it's not to be so far. The gap is 2.3 seconds. Mansell 1.1 seconds quicker in the middle sector. I really apologise about that to Nordis and people in the chat, but I'm trying my absolute best. It's not me. Burmeister is right behind Martin. Let's see, can he overtake him? Well, yes, he will, because he's right behind him then. So the DRS will be enabled for Burmeister down this back straight. Should be able to overtake with these. And once again, Burmeister finds himself on the podium for the third time potentially of the season. What about Casti in P5? He's not too far behind. He's able to stick at the back of Burmeister's DRS, and Martin's right there for the taking as well. Great race from the Sauber boys. Great recovery as well from those two. Zenum is up to P10 ahead of Joachim. The gap is now 2 seconds between Mansell and Smoke. So with about 8 laps left to go in this Grand Prix, they should be able to catch him very quickly. How is the fuel situation going to be for Smoke towards the end? Will he run out of fuel towards the end? We'll see. His hope is that a safety car comes out to rescue his race, because if it doesn't, we could see him run out of fuel and losing even more places, which could promote the likes of Martin, Cassidy on the podium. They're close together in P3, P4 and P5, this trio, and we'll see. Can Burmeister do it about Mansell? The gap was stabilised between 2.5 seconds for the last few laps of this race. The gap is now 3 seconds between Burmeister and Mansell. Mansell is almost in the DRS range of Smoke, so let's see then how long it will take for him to overtake.
I'm going to say that it's going to take about a minimum 3 laps. That's Mansell is going to take Smoke. And when he gets there, he's going to be probably doesn't ERS say anything? I don't know what Mansell's mindset is if he wants to overtake now. We've got a yellow flag. Who's that for? It is a Sauber. Is it a Sauber? No, it's Martin. Martin's round.
He has gone for a spin. Martin, unfortunately, he was up into P4, challenging for Burmeister and Calvin and Cassidy, but unfortunately has dropped it towards the end of turn 16. Yuki Tsunoda sustained a puncture there, I think, in practice or in the race back in 2023. It was 2023 because I remember him having a puncture towards the early stages. Oh, there's contact there, and he's in a spin in Joachim, and he's hit the wall. I don't think a safety car will be deployed because there's no carbon fibre on the circuit. There's no one who's lost the wheel there, but that was a very odd mistake indeed. Martin and Joachim made contact in the fast speed corners, and unfortunately for Joachim, he's gone for a spin and he's dropped himself down into P15 there. I think Martin tried to get out of the way, but it was just an awkward place to do it in the high speed corners. The gap is still 1.8 seconds, but we know in the middle sector is where Mansell will gain on his fresher medium compound tyres, more cornering speed, more traction at the exits, more grip to the corners, and he should be able to get all of the back of him. Although Smoke is doing as well to hold his own in P1, not the gap going down dramatically I thought it'd be. So he's keeping his own in P1 so far. Is Smoke there, but can he hold on? Mansell is looking for his second win of the season. He picked it up back in Miami. That's why I got confused, because on the graphic it said he's got 1 win. I was like, where? I don't remember him winning. But if you remember, back at the Miami Grand Prix, Adams was the one who won. But due to post-race penalties, he got demoted down because he made contact with Klusler down at turn 17 on the heavy braking zone. And that's why Adams did pick up his second win of the season. But the gap is 1.1 in the middle sector. He took about 7/10 out of Smoke's advantage. He's almost in the DRS range. If he can get a decent exit at turn 16, he should be able to be in the DRS range. The gap, 1.0. Just a few more hundreds trying to get himself in the DRS range. But it will happen inevitably.
So at this moment in time, Mansell is 1.1 behind Smokes, using the ERS to put his advantage. But Mansell will have the advantage in tyres and battery, because right now he is powering towards Smoke, and he's giving it all sorts of problems. Meanwhile, Dan and Sonic are still trading places, like they would. And Adams, he's had a miserable time out there, didn't he? At the moment, he's behind the Mercedes of Ronnie. He could overtake him for a top 10 finish. You'd love that after the race he's had. And here we go, Adams down the inside, and he'll get the Mercedes clean and simple.
Up into P10 he goes. Remember, both of these drivers had problems earlier on this race. Ronnie spun out of turn 2 a few laps ago, or turn 3, sorry, and Adams, who picked up an early penalty, had to picked up a 10-second time penalty. He's back up into P10 now. What could it have been? Because I think he's got some decent race pace in Baku, but he just couldn't show it due to what happened down towards the first few corners. I'm not quite sure if he hit the wall himself or got involved in other people's contact trying to take avoided action, but Mansell surely in his middle sector should be able to get himself in the DRS range of Smoke, which he is right now. Can he stay there? Smoke in the first and final sector seems like he's got some decent straight line speed on that car to prevent Mansell from catching him even quickly. As we've got 6 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. Down towards turn 16 we go as we bump over the curve there. I've seen a few people hop, skip and jump over that curve, literally like Xenon did in qualifying. Got away with it even though he tapped the wall in the exit of it too, but lost in end play. But here we are now. Mansell is in the DRS range. Is there anything Smoke can do about it? I thought that Mansell would be all over the back of him within about 2-3 laps, but actually he's done a fantastic job to keep the Aston Martin driver at bay for the time being. But how long will that last for? The DRS is wide open for Mansell, but he's too far back on this occasion. He's not going to go for it just yet. He doesn't want to use the ERS unnecessarily as he stays behind the Alpine driver, but maybe 2 or 3 laps time the move will come. There's the Sauber boys. They swap places. Calvin is up to P4 ahead of his own teammate, as Cassidy does have front wing damage there on the right hand side. Cassidy goes a bit deep into turn 1. Calvin, sorry, as Cassidy stays in P5, but Mansell, he's right alongside and he overtakes him to lead the Grand Prix. And let's see, can he pull away or can Smoke respond back on the straight?
So, at this moment in time, Mansell is going to cut that deficit to Adams a lot in the championship, but right at this moment in time, it's going to be all on Mansell to see if he can keep that car out of the walls, and also if Smoke can stick with Mansell now and use him as sort of a tow truck to keep pulling him away for Burmeister. I'm going to say big shout out to Burmeister. He's doing a fantastic job for another podium. He's done a good job out there today. And also Dan going from P18 to P8, and he'll possibly be in P7. So he made 11 positions today, has Dan. He's done a fantastic job. So right now it's all down to Smoke. If he can keep DRS at Mansell so he can stick away from Burmeister, because at this moment in time it's 3.0 seconds, and in this very close quarter of the race with 5 laps to go, it's anyone's game for the podium. It depends on how Smoke is really good with his pace, because at this crucial moment it's all about the tyres. At this crucial moment, Yaram has gone for a bit of a spin in the beginning part of set to 1, or the final part set to 1. Here comes Smoke, closing over the DRS on Mansell. He's not going to make the move. So right now, Mansell defending well. Let's see how it plays out towards the final stages of this Grand Prix. But Dan has actually lost time there to Sonic Hawk. He's now 1.2 behind. So right now, the closest fight is these two. Can Smoke close in? No, it looks like he can't. So right now, Mansell can use that set to 2 advantage, like you've been saying, Jamie, to pull away.
Ladies and gentlemen, look at the steering wheel of the Alpine. You can see the fuel he has, 0.01 minus plus. So I think with Smoke in P2 with the DRS, I think he needs to lift and coast right now until about lap 25, just in case he runs out of fuel towards the end. He looks like he's okay so far. The yellow warning light keeps popping on and off, but he might be vulnerable towards the end of this race. I'm really nervous about Smoke. He's done a fantastic job, managed it really well. He's had some decent pace, but the fuel could decide his race towards the end then. Can he stay within Mansell's DRS? Can he use him as a lift and coast there with the help of the DRS, try and bring himself contention? He is, by the way, sticking, despite with the hardcore power tyres. Look like they're okay so far, the hards look like a better tyre so far. Even though Mansell's on the mediums, he's not able to pull away, break away that 1 second rigid DRS. As we go out of turn 17 once again, what will Smoke do? Will he lift a coast going down into turn 1 and turn 3 with the helping hand of DRS, bringing himself into contention? Will he use the battery also to try and help with the fuel saving too? As we go down the long back straight then, DRS will be enabled for Smoke. Will he re-overtake Mansell going down into 1? Let's find out now. He's getting closer and closer. Here he is then. Down the inside he goes into 1. Mansell breaks later. Does he make the corner? Yes, he does. As he stays ahead, then around the outside he goes. It was a momentary yellow flag, I think it was. I think it was Martin who's dropped it somewhere. Not quite sure where it was. Probably the end of the castle session there.
Yeah, he has. And Smoke, I'll tell you now, he's doing a fantastic job with Mansell. But I've got a feeling that Mansell's tyres are starting to degrade at this point in time. It's 7 laps in, but this place is a high degrading circuit, and right now it could be Mansell losing positions to Smoke, and this could be Smoke's second win in 2 races, because he won last week and he could win this week. But at this moment in time, it is Mansell to hold on, only just. But Smoke with a wheel spin there, but it's looks like nothing wrong there. So at this crucial moment, it is Mansell winning, but for how long? Because Smoke is piling all sorts of problems.
He is indeed, but he's doing very well efficiently to save the fuel, as he's now in the pluses once again, but on the fringes there. So he's done a fantastic job with fuel so far. Mansell, despite being in clean air and on the medium compound tyres, is not able to break free from the DRS. So let's see, Smoke is hanging in there. He's done a fantastic job. Which one of these two will win their Grand Prix, their 3rd win of the season? We're about to find out very shortly. Burmeister hanging on to a podium. He's 3.8 seconds behind. Zienemann Adams, the only one in this race to pick pick up a 3-second penalty. There's yellow flags in sector 1 because of the Red Bull making an appearance on the track. That's the RP, sorry. As we go towards turn 1, Smoke is not close enough on this occasion to go down the inside, so he has to stay behind for the time being, but managing the ERS really, really well. They're both preserving the ERS, ready to attack and defend later on in this race. Manso, who was very disappointed last week after finishing outside the top 10 with a disappointing race in Imola, but this time round he's fighting for the win. Will he be a happy man tomorrow when he joins me in the commentary box, or will he be frustrated? But Smoke there doing a fantastic job. He was a Div 1 driver who scored a podium back at Saudi Arabia in Div 1. And here he is fighting for his third win of the season in Div 2. Many doubted him being in Div 2, as Ellie is William Mansell on. Those two good friends. Nice to see you here, Ellie. It's a shame you bottled it yesterday in yesterday's race. But here we go through these slow speed corners before we make our way now towards the castle section. There is 3 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. Smoke has got 100% ERS. Manso will be harvested too, as both of them there knowing the mind games they'll play between each other with the ERS saving. We've got about 3 laps left to go in this race. Smoke on the old hard compound tyres, Manso's tyres, and there's a yellow flag in the first sector because Ronnie once again has made contact with the wall at turn 3. And it's the same place he spun last time. He's dropped down the order to 13th, and he's just ahead of his teammate Wade Seth in P14. We haven't mentioned him so far, but he's currently down in P14. He has been struggling around here in Azerbaijan. Well, no surprise really, because it is a very difficult track, but no safeties, no VSCs. They've done a fantastic job so far, and we're coming towards lap 25 where the VSC can no longer come out as Energy Dan has left the session then. So Zenum and Adams might fancy picking up a place there or two. As here comes Smoke getting closer and closer. He is waiting for the last lap. It is very wise to wait for the last lap because we've seen plenty of people get out dragged on the line before. We saw Valtteri Bottas out drag Lawrence Stroll. We saw it in the F3 race where I think Mini almost got out dragged by somebody else. There's a yellow flag once again. That's the Aston Martin this time. It's not Mansell, it's his teammate Michael Wasp.
So Smoke is playing an awesome game here with Mansell. It's like playing a cat with a ball of string, but he is literally playing with Mansell here. He's trying to make Mansell to drain his ERS and make him freaking hell. Sorry about that. It's my fiance shouting at the dog, telling her off. Good job, Nikki. But yeah, Smoke doing a fantastic job playing around with Mansell here, but he's again wheel spinning again, but it looks like he's doing a great job harvesting, to say the least, and also, like you said, Jamie, doing a fantastic job with the fuel saving. We're now coming towards the final lap in about a few moments time. So 4/10, 3/10 at the moment. It could be anyone's game, but is now decision time for Smoke. Is he going to attack Mansell this lap, or is he going to wait to the final lap? Is he going to attack now, or is he going to attack the next one? It's all down to Smoke here on when he decides to push. But this is it. Final lap, Jamie. This is it. Smoke versus Mansell for the win.
6 kilometres left to go in this race, and looks like Smoke is in the best comfortable position with the amount of ERS he's got. He is not going to go for it, by the way, down into turn 1. Will it be at turn 3? Or like you said, will it be down at turn 17 where he gets a better exit and try and drag him towards the line? Is now, or is turn 17? One of the two places as we make our way now towards turn 2. Will he go down the inside into turn 3? Because he's trying to force Mansell to use his battery down the straight and try and make him vulnerable on this straight to make sure he gets him on the battery he has to go down the inside of turn 3. But no, does not go for it. So it's all going to happen at the exit of turn 17. Smoke will try and drag Mansell. Now Mansell is very wise to it. He is saving battery. He's put the battery into none. He knows the attack is coming down towards the straight there, so he's trying to regenerate all the battery he could possibly save up and use it all down the straight there. So very wise there from Mansell. But look at the flashing light there. You can see now it is red for Smoke, but if I look at his steering wheel, it is plus 0.18, so he should be okay with fuel. It's all about and this is going to be very close. Smoke has decided not to go for a turn 1 or turn 3. He has left it to the very last chance, literally, at the exit of turn 17. He's close to him, all over the back of him, going out of these fast speed corners into 15 to 16 before we make our way on the brakes once again into this tricky corner where we saw Pierre Gasly and Brendan Hartley almost come to blows there, as Brendan Hartley had a puncher and Pierre Gasly had to take a forward action as we make our way now towards our turn 17. Race. It's going to be a drag race. He is super close right behind him. I don't think there's nothing Mansell could do about this. He's going to get swamped on the straight. So here we are then. Will Mansell just lift off, try and get Smoke to overtake him before the detection point? Here he is then. He is defending, but there is absolutely nothing he can do unless the DRS is able now. It's going to be a drag race all the way to the line. You can see that Smoke has DRS and he comes across the line to win the Baku Grand Prix. There is absolutely nothing Mansell could do about that. One weave left and that was it. The gap was 1/10 towards the end, and Smoke, very, very strategic with the DRS and the ERS management too, comes across the line to take his third win in a row and of the season too. What a fantastic drive again from Smoke with the tactical DRS advantage too. Nothing Mansell could have done about that.
And the fuel saving as well was fantastic as well. Well done to him. But you got to think that Mansell, though, he will be happy with that because Adams has finished 8th in this race. So that's more points gained there for Mansell in the championship because right now he's second at the moment behind Adams. But that's more points gained. Dan, with the most unfortunate timing of being, disconnected, and now he's finishing P10 for starting P18. And you know what? It's been a very, very good race. McLaren 7-8, Sonic caught P6, Sauber 4 and 5. Burmeister missed the consecutive of podiums. Well done to him there. Well done.
Mansell, who finished outside the top 10 in Imola, had a DNF back at the Monza Grand Prix and also didn't go well for him at the Dutch GP either. He is finally back into P2, and 3 races ago is where he took his last podium at the Miami Grand Prix. He won the Grand Prix in Miami actually due to Adams' post-race penalty, so he's gained on him during this race. Has Mansell very crucial points indeed for him. Adams will be looking back. It's still a strong result for Adams and P8 there because despite a 10-second penalty, despite having to pit early on lap 1 towards the end of it with a broken end plate, 8th place is still a strong finish for there. What could have happened to Adams if he didn't have those problems in that race? Because his qualifying pace is not really that great. His race pace is better. And I wonder, could he be in the mix if it wasn't for that damage towards the end of lap 1? Who knows? But anyways, we move on to the next race and we'll find out what will happen there too. The next race is at the Singapore Grand Prix. Do you know what? Is this calendar following the actual F1 calendar?
Yeah, it is. To be honest, it is. But there you go. Smoke flying the flag here in Baku with Mansell in there in second place. He'll be very happy with the results. And Burmeister, of course, in there in P3, representing the Dutch. But look at that. Unbelievable. Well done to Smoke. Another win. And that's what? Like you said, Jamie, 3 wins in a row? Not too bad. Not too bad at all. And I'll tell you now, in terms of the championship, if Smoke could keep the sort of consistency, Jamie, could he push for the championship at the final part of the season? I don't know. But he is getting consistent with these victories. But there we go. Smoke wins the Grand Prix along with Mansell, Burmeister, Calvin, Cassidy, Sonic Hawk in P6, Keeps in P7. He will be a little bit disappointed after starting in P2, but he'll take that on to the next Grand Prix. Adams, well done to him for however, after a dreadful start, he pushed on to be finishing P8 and of course and so on and so on. Dan will be a little bit disappointed with P10 after a slight disconnection, but well done to every single driver out there. No safety cars, fantastic them. But I'll tell you now, it's going to be it's going to be a lot of stewards inquiries, to say the least.
So, the podium sitters are here. Burmeister, we'll start with him. So, Burmeister, it's your 4th podium of the season, mate. Congratulations. And after a dismal qualifying, I think you started down in P10. You made your way through the field. And you were level pegging there in terms of the gap between yourself and Mansell. Did you think there was any chance to try and catch up towards him, or was it just a bit too far away towards the end? But your mic's muted, Burmeister. Is he here? I thought I saw his name on the pie. Am I even here? I can't even hear anybody.
Smoke's muted, Mansell's... No, Burmeister's not here, so you can do Mansell if you want to.
Talking to a ghost right there. But anyways, we move on to Mansell then, before Burmeister joins. But Mansell, I don't know what to say about that, mate. Are you happy? Are you frustrated? Because A, you are gaining points on your championship rival, and B, you lost out by a 10 towards the end. There was absolutely nothing you could do with the amount of EOS, the DOS you had on you. So I think P2 was best for you, because that was the plan for him, just stick in second place until the last lap, because yeah, there was nothing you could do about it. So how do you feel?
Yeah, like you said, I'll take it. P2. Like I said, gained points on championship rival. Smoke's on a run. He's 3 wins in a row ever since he came down to Division 2. So, yeah, no, it was a good battle with Smoke, to be fair. Like you said, there's nothing I could have done there. It's just yeah, DRS being way too powerful. But, you know, I'll take P2. Like I said, gaining points on Adams, so I don't mind at all.
It was a great race from you, actually, because in the first stint you were attached. I'm not quite sure what the reason it was for that, whether you guys were having a bit of a scrap earlier on in the race. The gap was 4 seconds between you and Casti at the time, but you brought yourself back into play with that one, because you're able to close in on Smoke and I think Casti at the time before you head off into the pit lane. So, did you think there was any chance of being in contention for the race win today, before that?
Oh, well, yeah, 100%. I mean, I knew that at the beginning of the race, first 3 laps, I was going to be, well, I know I wouldn't have had any pace compared to the medium tyres, because obviously more grip and all that. But as long as I just kept it consistent, obviously the top 3 then pulled away. It was Cassidy, Adams, and obviously Smoke. Then them 3 had started to battle each other. I had Martin with me, so me and Martin were just consistently changing position with DRS, obviously trying to gain back time towards the top 3, and then obviously Martin came in, which then was important for me, because then I knew at that point hards were definitely the compound from that point onwards. So my stint on that and that part of the race was very important. And then I wasn't expecting to come out where I did when I came out of the pits, like literally 4 seconds behind Smoke in P2. I was like, okay, this is a bit of an advantage here. So yeah, and then obviously I needed to make those mediums work, and then obviously gain time on the Smoke. Smoke was pushing. I know he was on those hard compound tyres as well. Because I know he would have wanted me to struggle near the end. Well, I did. Obviously, I'm guessing he was hoping to stay over a second, but obviously, like I said, DRS is very powerful, so you want to be at that 1 second mark as much as you can, especially in league racing. But yeah, once I overtook Smoke, I thought I still had some pace of trying to pull that 1 second, but obviously just not enough. Smoke was able to keep with me, and obviously made the tactical move to get the move done on that start-finish straight on the final lap. So yeah, no, fair play to you as well, Smoke.
Do you think that when you overtook Smoke and you broke that 1 second gap, do you think you were able to maintain it then? Because once somebody stays within DRS of you, it is very hard to pull out of it. So him staying in DRS meant that he could stick with you throughout the end of the race. So that could have been the reason why you struggled to pull away from him.
Yeah, like I said, as soon as I passed Smoke, I knew it was important to try and get a gap, but Smoke, he's on a roll. He's 3 wins in a row now. Yeah, it's very difficult to break the DRS on a driver who's on a roll like that at the moment. But, you know, I'll just hope that I'll be up there for the rest of the season. I know I'm a quick driver. I know I'm up for a championship fight. I'll just try and stay with these guys as much as I can for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much there, Owen. Owen, you got any questions to ask for Oliver?
Yeah, so with the motivation now you got now, man, so going into the next Grand Prix, what are you hoping for? You're going to try to keep the consecutive podiums and hoping Aiden gets more bad results and because of more championship fights?
Yeah, exactly that. Just try and keep with these guys, especially Smoke. Smoke, like I said, Smoke. I keep mentioning this name now, but he's on a roll. I just want to try and keep the Smoke as long as I can keep with him. I know I'm pulling away from the rest of the grid, really. But Yeah, I know that Adams is missing. I think he said Monaco and Canada. So again, I've got to take advantage of that as well. But yeah, I'll just take it race by race again, and just hopefully it's consistent top 5.
Yeah, I miss Monaco too if I was him because I hate it. But thank you very much there, Owen. And we'll move on to Burmeister now. So, Burmeister, mate, welcome to the party. Make sure your voice is shared. And it's your 4th podium of the season too. So, despite the tricky qualifying session for you, you're able to make your way back up to there on the podium there. So, talk us through your race, mate.
Yeah. Just a bit of a gamble on the hards, because before the race I was thinking about mediums because early safety cars, and then I checked in the race director if the mediums could also go like 15-16 laps, and they could. So then, like 10 seconds before the race began, I decided to go for the hard ones, and in the end I don't know what the rest of them did behind on the mediums, because maybe they had some problems or got held up in traffic. But when I came out P4, I think, after my pit stop, yeah, it was quite sure I could get Martin, because he was already on the hards and he was like 2 seconds in front or something. And then in the end, last 6 laps or something, I saw those 2 guys up front and they have DRS trains and shit. So I thought, let's take it easy, because I think the gap behind was like 8 seconds or something. And then, yeah, the last 5 laps were just driving around the town, you know, easily.
Yeah, you weren't able to catch Mansell there. The gap between you and Mansell was consistently like 2.5 before the first. Did you think that there was any chance of catching him once you came out of the pit lane, or was P3 just the best for you today?
Well, in the end, I think P3 was the best, because I had to catch up earlier then, just after our pit stops. Before we were quite equal, and I was gaining on him because, yeah, I also had to come from P9 or something, I think. So I had a lot of battles before, but when I arrived, I could catch up a bit on the hards, on the worn hards, but on the mediums, yeah, maybe I could take some more risk in the beginning, but I had Martin also in between, so yeah. And then I could stay up till lap 20 or something, and then my mind was like, okay, let's just take it easy, not crash it at the tower or something. Let's just take P3 and not go to the limit anymore. Just get the P3, and maybe they would make a mistake in battling or something. But like I saw it on the telemetry, it was like a DRS battle, and Smoke had some bit more ERS in the end, and won it like a Bottas.
And I think you move up, judging by my championship calculations, you could possibly move up to P3 or 4 in the standards, because you're currently P9, but after this race, scoring the podium there, you could move to P3, because the gap between P3 and P9 is 12 points. Can you believe it? That's very close. Even P10, P3 to P10 is 13 points. That's how close it is in the midfield pack. Are you thinking about a championship fight? Do you believe you could try and match these guys? Is it on your mind, or are you just taking one race at a time?
Well, I told you before that I'm a lot busy at the tennis club in the summertime, and this.
It's not summer anymore, mate.
What?
It's not summer anymore.
Yeah, there is some anymore, and today a guy, because the weather in Holland is getting worse and worse, and normally we play indoor tennis.
Yeah.
And some guy asked me for 10 Tuesdays to fall in for him because he has an injury indoors, and I said no, mate. I'm in the racing league, and I'm good in the standings right now. So I want to go for the racing league. So basically, I dislined 10 tennis games for the racing league right now, and I did a couple of did not starts in the beginning because I reserved then, but now, like, there's still halfway of the calendar to go, and I want to go for it.
Well, fair enough, mate. Goed gedaan vandaag, and we'll see you at the Singapore Grand Prix also. Master, how did you feel for the Singapore Grand Prix?
Well, let's see. Like today, qualifying got a bit bad because PSV was playing. I was just joining like 5 minutes before with like gold in the qualifying. But we'll see, we'll see. I'm just getting in there. I'm not focusing on the qualifying. I'm focusing on focusing 20 laps or 30 laps of how much is necessary to do a full race, because that's where we gain points.
Right, don't give up, Master. Appreciate that, mate. And good luck, well done today.
Thanks to you guys for commentating, and have a good night.
Yeah, you too, mate. Goedenavond. And we move on to our race winner, which is Smoke. For the third time in a row, Smoke, you've done it, mate. And I doubted you for starting the softcore part tires. I thought you made an accident, but it was actually purposeful. Or was it purposeful? I don't know. But the soft to hard worked towards the end. So what made you choose the softcore part tires? Was it an early safety car, or was it just a strategy for you in general?
Well, I doubted me too, so you're not the only one. No, I should probably thank Martin for that idea, because in the practice session on Friday, I believe, he started on the softs, and he was going pretty well. I saw that he took those tyres a couple of laps too far, which made them not viable. I saw potential in the idea, and I knew the undercut was incredibly powerful here, so I thought, I'll think about it, and I was humming and hawing whether I was going to do it or not. It was after I watched the race last night, and I saw Mad G stop on lap 8 from his mediums onto his hards, and he kind of springboarded himself up the grid until he decided to stop again. So that kind of cemented the idea in my head, and I was still on the grid. I was humming and hawing because I was sat on the medium tyres the entire time. And then I jokingly said, should I do it to Dan? Dan just went, don't put it on me. So I just went, you know what, I'll do it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I knew I had to do something a little bit different, just because running in a pack round here is just asking for trouble. So I thought, if I do that, I can get out of the way and play for clean air.
And your tactic towards the end was always stick behind Mansell and get towards the end, and you did it on the straight there. So you didn't do it in turn 1 or turn 3. Have you had experience, or did you know that was the best time, best place to do it?
Well, I didn't really have any tactic there at all. It was a case of hope to death I hang on to the back of him and see what happens on lap 26. Mansell did pull the second gap on me, but I needed a little bit more just to get into that DRS, just to be able to stick with him. So I burnt probably about 50% of my battery just trying to get onto the DRS. Going back to the other point of your question, do I have experience on that? A little bit, because when I first raced in SFR in my first season, I did a last corner overtake very similar to that on a former racer of the league, and it worked. So that kind of came back, and I thought it might work again. I'm not sure. I didn't know what state of battery or the setup of that Owen had. I had no idea, so it was a case of hope I could get there, and yeah, I'm pleased with the result. I thought it was a brilliant fight between me and Owen. I loved every second of it. It's good to be racing him again.
Very nice to hear indeed. And also, when Mansell came out on the medium compound tyres, he was only 3.6 seconds behind. So were you ever nervous about him catching up and overtaking you and breaking you on the DRS?
Yes, I was. I was watching Martin and seeing that the gap between me and him was fluctuating from about 4.7 to about 3.8, sort of every couple of laps. So I was concentrating on just trying to maintain that gap and trying to save a bit of fuel, because I underfueled.
You did?
Yeah, so I was just trying to manage that, and I did make it hard for myself. And then when I saw Mansell and Burmeister pit, I thought, that's fine, they'll end up behind that lot, I should be okay. And then all of a sudden I looked at the top left and I see Mansell, P2, medium tyres, closing the gap by like tenths every corner. And I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble now. And then he kept putting fastest laps in. So yeah, I was panicking the entire way past that. And then again, just like I said, I hoped to death that I could stick to him once he got past me, because I knew it was inevitable. I wasn't going to be able to fend him off for long.
I was very nervous for you because you wouldn't have fueled the car like you said. I saw the warning light on the MFD come up on lap 2 and 3, so I thought towards the end of the race you would have run out of fuel. When you were behind Mansell with the DRS, were you lifting and coasting, just try and save a bit of fuel? Because you were always like 0.0 something, and I thought towards the end you'd be done with fuel there. But you did a fantastic job fuel saving, so I bet that was stressful too, thinking about defending from him or attacking him, saving the DRS, and also saving fuel.
Yeah. I looked at the lap count and saw it was halfway, like we'd done 13 laps, and I clocked that I'd only just touched the halfway point on how much I needed to save, or needed to recover rather, and I knew I was in trouble then, because I thought I would have gained more of it back, and I hadn't. So yeah, I did do a bit of lift and coast behind Mansell. I think it was one of the laps into turn 1, where I was gaining on him quite quickly. So I thought I'll lift off. I can use this to my advantage to try and save some fuel. I saved a fair chunk of it, and I thought I should be okay to push for the rest of it, because I can save a little bit through every corner. I probably shouldn't have underfueled as much as I did, but it was a kind of a blessing and a curse that Mansell got there when he did, because he saved me from just falling down the grids. But he also caused a lot of stress for me throughout that race as well.
Well, it's your third win in a row, mate. You're doing a fantastic job so far. Could we see a fourth from you in Singapore? How do you feel about that track?
If it was the old setup, then I'd say yeah, I'd go for that. But I don't like the new layout of the track. I don't get on with it. I'm not hoping for much.
It's funny because corners have been taken out and it's just straight. So I thought it'd be like the other way around, where you struggle more in the corners and be better on the straight. But you said you don't like the new layout where the corners been taken out. So what part of the track do you like? Is it that third sector?
I love that third sector because it's so difficult to do, and it's so easy for people to make mistakes. So you can recover a lot of time if you've lost some to the car in front. I think they've made it too simple, too easy, and anybody running a slightly lower setup than you are going to be flying through those straights and those fast corners that you don't really need the downforce on, and that's not my driving style, unfortunately, for this game.
And we talked about you being in the championship fight. Now, I did see there's a long way to go in the season. It is quite a long season. Is there any chance for you to join that championship fight? Because we know Adam sometimes struggles in races. We know Mansell has his difficulties also. So with you, the way you're going consistently, do you think there's a chance for you towards the end of the season? Do you think you can maybe join in?
Mathematically, it's possible. The actual it being a plausible idea, I don't think it is. I guess we'll just see where I end up. At the minute, I'm just looking at the championship table before the race, seeing who's got the next person above me in the standings, and then just looking at them going, I need to beat you today, and then see where I am next week.
Fair enough, mate. Thank you very much. And you are below, but you should be able to overtake them very easily. Ronnie Emils as well, close to my for Wasp and maybe Martin. So we'll see how it pans out for you. But well done today again. And Owen, you got any questions to ask for Smoke?
I love the fact you keep calling me Owen. It's quite starting to become quite funny. Even my fiance is laughing. Smoke. With this momentum going into Singapore, this is your second win in a row. You must be loving life in Division 2 at the moment with the consecutive victories you're getting at the moment. Is that, like Jamie said, is that really going to continue?
To be honest, it's adding more pressure. In Div 1, I knew I could turn up every week, drive around for an hour and a half, and just see where I end up. In Division 2, there's any amount of people in this division that can win, and if you look at the standings, you can see that there's plenty of winners. I think there's 7 or 8 different winners this season, so there's potential out there. There's a couple of drivers in the division that I know aren't quite performing as well as they'd like, and I know full well that they will come back at some point. It's just a matter of time. To name one right now would be Burmeister. I've raced him previously in other leagues. He is ridiculously fast. Another one is Mansell, ridiculously fast on his day. I'm assuming he's still getting to grips with this current game, so he's still picking things up and learning. But there's a lot of people up. Dan, he's improving every week. He's just been unlucky every week so far. Sonic, he's up there. Martin's up there. Keith's is there. The entire grid has the capability of doing it. So it's kind of luck of the draw each week.
Well, thank you very much for that, Smoke, and interested to hear from you. So thank you, all three of you, for joining, and thank you, Oliver, for joining me in the commentary box again.
Hey, it's no problem, Jamie. Looking forward to the next race in Singapore.
Yeah, so Div 2 and Div 3, we're done here in Baku, and we move on to the Singapore Grand Prix for next week's race. But tomorrow, join us back at 7:30 for the race in Baku. It's Laser who leads the championship ahead of Hurricane. I think McLaren are closing down Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship as well, so watch out for those two teams, especially with Pocket Valley Guy, a newcomer who made his debut back at the Singapore Grand Prix, same with, I think, Marco as well. Those two are really quick as well, so we'll see how they do towards us. I think it is Baku tomorrow, so join us back at 7:30, and we'll see you all tomorrow for Div 1, but for Div 2 and Div 3, we'll see you on Monday and Tuesday, and have a good night and have a good weekend as well. For the Singapore Grand Prix this weekend, are Ferrari going to win, or do McLaren have the pace? Because we did see Carlos Sainz win there last year ahead of Lando Norris.